What's up, everybody? It is Kid Smooth, and this is another one of those lunch break vlogs. And I want to talk about Xbox, of course, and Microsoft's exclusives and their first party studios and whatnot, and what I think they should do. You know, everybody has like an idea or their solutions of what Microsoft should do. They need to grow more in-house studios. They need to have 343 and a coalition and Turn 10 develop games other than Halo, Gears, and Forza. And that's cool, and many of these people have many cases and many points, and hopefully this helicopter's not drowning out my sound. But a lot of these people have many cases and many points that I can a little bit agree with. But when I think about Xbox and I think about their biggest games and their biggest exclusives, the games that done the best on the Xbox platform, I think and I say to myself, well, if you think about games like Halo and Gears of War, they weren't done by first party studios. When Halo was done, they weren't owned by Microsoft at the time. When Gears of War was done, Epic wasn't owned by Microsoft. It just happened to be something that worked for them. These were like test titles, and they lucked out to appear on the Microsoft console, and Microsoft purchased these IPs at like the height of their franchise. Well, Gears of War was bought maybe a couple years ago. Halo, I think, was bought after Halo 3 or Halo Reach or some shit like that. They kind of just bought out the IP. But remember, those were actually done before these the developers or the titles became part of an in-house studio thing. So me personally, I do not think Microsoft needs first-party studios like that. And I know people are going to be like, what? This dude's crazy. But think about it. Think about how their successful titles came about. Microsoft is an American company. And one thing American does great, other than tax the shit out of people better than anything else, they import a lot of things. They import more than they export. So what I think Microsoft should do, they have a whole lot of IPs they could potentially work with that they're not doing anything with. They should contract the IPs that their first-party studios aren't working on to third-party developers, to third-party studios, in hopes that they find a gem. Because when you do that, you could develop that rapport with these studios, and you can have a dedicated third-party studio that makes an exclusive IP for you. And sure, Microsoft had tried this. Sure, we could be like, well, you're gonna run into a situation with like Quantum Break, and and Remedy doesn't want to make that anymore. And that's true. You do have that situation where slightly you may not get that game out of that developer, and if you pass that IP over to a new third-party studio, you might not get the same result, and that's completely understandable. And that's why you have contracts and deals, and you like, you know what, I want to sign a 3-game deal or trilogy deal with you for this game. They can do that. That exists. You know what I mean? If the franchise has to die after 3 games, you do what they did with Halo. They remember, Bungie, they're doing the Destiny. They didn't want to make Halo anymore. So 343, talented guys able to make Halo games that just works and that evolves with the time and the generations as we move forward ahead. I mean, Halo, like I said, if Halo remained Halo of the Halo 3 and Halo 4, it just would be very bland and would not feel like a game you would want to play. Whereas Halo 5 is just perfect with the times and whatnot. So, and same thing with the Coalition, you know what I mean? That's not the full Epic team, you know, who did Gears of War, but they got one of the main guys. You got Rod Ferguson. So that there, you can find gems in these deals and then start to develop from inside like that. I don't think Microsoft needs a whole a shit ton of first party studios. And you got to think about it. Sony has a shit ton of first party studios that they have first party studios here in America. They got first party studios in fucking Europe. They got first party studios all over in Japan. So Microsoft is never going to match that, and I don't think they want to set up first party studios in Japan. It's just no benefit to them. That would be kind of a waste of money, honestly. So that's where you kind of have to be realistic. In all platforms, all publishers need a third party to rely on. There's nothing wrong with second party studios and third party exclusives to do things like that for you. Have a bunch of IPs. You have some that your first party studio specialized at, and then you have some where you could lend off to help develop these games with you. And for Microsoft, that is not a problem. And this is not damage control. It's the truth. It's been done before. And I think it should be practiced again to ramp up their exclusive production for games, because you can count on your fingers how much first party studios Microsoft got, and to expect so many games from these many studios is kind of asinine. So you kind of have to look to third party or second party or independent, up and coming independent studios to get some of this production out of, and I think that's what we'll see, and that's how I see it. I think that's how it should work. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys for joining me on this lunch break vlog, and I know you guys love that view behind me. It's Kid Smooth. Xbox is the best box, and I am the best bot. Thank you. Peace.